Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakakatash, double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Salutations to your Akim that's out there doing the work in truth and in sincerity, bringing the truth throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, this lesson is going to be a short one, relatively a short one, because I just want to touch on a few pointers. I want to touch on Esau's guilt, all right, and Esau's blatant you know, his blatant try or a blatant attempt to pretty much clear himself, put himself in the clear, so to speak, because he made a point, and brothers, this Edomite made a point, all right, and it's not much of a point, I know brothers did their response, but this is my little two cent, he just made a point. This Edomite right here made a point that you know, Jacob hasn't followed the Lord with all his heart, and which pretty much gives him room to say, like, Esau, has the same mercy. The scriptures tell you that Esau doesn't have mercy, okay, because their hurtful works are fulfilled. It's one thing, Jacob was forgiven, and the Lord died for our nation, the Lord died for the children of Israel, not the whole world, as in oikoumene, as in, you know, everybody, all the inhabitants within the earth, more of a sense of cosmos, a particular world within the world type of deal. So, Esau is pretty much, he has this guilt trip. You understand? Well, this is proving that they know they're Edomites too, as well, because why would they try to plead the case for Esau, you know? But he does his comparisons, and Esau playing the devil, pretty much trying to trying to clear himself a little bit. But hey, we're gonna go into the scriptures, and Lord willing, this is edifying. Okay, this is First John 3:20. It says, "For if our heart condemn us, God is greater than our heart and knoweth all things." All right, so their minds are damn well condemning them. All right, they're condemned. All right, that's why they're making the attempt to try to clear the space a little bit, or clear their names to the world. Basically trying to explain how God doesn't hate them, but we know why the Lord hates you. As the scripture says, I'm gonna read it again. It says, "For if our heart condemn us, God is greater than our heart and knoweth all things." Okay, so the Most High, if you condemn yourself and know you're a piece of shit, the Most High knows you're a piece of shit, but He knows all the things that you have done. All right, so the so-called white man cannot hide himself. All right, the cat is out the bag. He's being revealed in his time. The track record is there. The hatred was there. The blatant, turning away from God is there as far as these Edomites are concerned. The blatant war against God is, on their behalf is being shown. So, you know, hey, the Most High knows all things, man. He knows the intent of these Edomites. All right. Verse 21. And it says, "Beloved, if our heart condemn us not, then have we confidence toward the Most High." All right. And we don't have, condemnation. All right. As far as, the Most High is concerned, because He promised that He would comfort us, and we have received that comfort, and our spirit beareth witness. There we go. All right. So, beloved, if our heart condemn us not, then have we confidence toward the Most High, and whatsoever we ask, we receive of Him, because we keep His commandments and do those things that are pleasing in His sight. So, in hindsight, is Esau, doing anything pleasing in the Lord's sight? For the Lord not to condemn him. We just hypothetically asked that question. We already know the answer. You know. So Hebrews 12:16. It says, "Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright." All right. So their foreparent sold their birthright, man. All right. and he committed the ultimate, betrayal, which is he spat on the Lord's, you know, or his father's gift towards him, man, and that's of nobody else's fault but their own. So Slaki. So this Ecclesiasticus, let me see, 41:5, it says, the children of sinners are abominable children, and they that are conversant in the dwelling of the ungodly. All right, the inheritance of sinners, children shall perish, and their posterity, meaning their seed, shall have a perpetual reproach. So, when going to the word perpetual, it means everlasting, and the reproach is what pretty much a recompense towards evil. You know, so they're having an everlasting reproach, and that's why the guilt trip is sinking in. The guilt is sinking in, and Esau is trying to weasel his way out of condemnation and trying to clear, pretty much his name. But you're not, you can't fool us. I mean, you can't fool the Most High. You can fool man, but you cannot fool the Most High. And then that's what's going on here. They're trying to fool everybody else, but the Most High knows you. All right, He knows the wicked deeds that you have done. All right, and I'm gonna quote the scripture. Actually, I got my book open back from the first scripture I read, 1 John 3 and 20. Which was a point of this lesson. Because their hearts condemning them. So it says, for if our heart condemn us, God is greater than our heart and knoweth all things. All right. So the Most High, if you condemning yourself, and if you know you're the Edomites, and you know that you is a perpetual reproach against you, and that everybody is pointing towards you, how much more the Most High? It's the Most High that actually, is turning everybody against you. All right, He's revealing you. All right. Verse 6, it says, I'm going to read it again. It says, the inheritance of sinners, children shall perish, and their posterity shall have a perpetual reproach. The children will complain of an ungodly father, because they shall be reproached for his sake. All right. So in this case, their whole nation is being judged. All right. Because of the sins of their father. And the sins of the father fell on his children. All right. And that happens in cases when you deal with the Most High, because He won't just curse the father who cursed the father's children because of the transgressions. And what happened with Esau, when you do a little case study on, Genesis, when it speaks on Isaac and Jacob, Jacob and Esau, that Esau hated his brother. Okay. These are one of the fine points that you get out of reading the story of Jacob and Esau. Esau hated his brother. All right. And he vowed to kill his brother. All right. As so did Cain with Abel. All right. Which he was the first murderer. All right. Okay. So that's one of the reasons why. All right. So they ended up cursing. He ended up, Esau, all right, the progenitor of the Edomite race, ended up cursing his own children. Why? Because a blessing he received was a blessing that was given to all his generations. All right. And he, for one morsel of meat, pretty much threw away the blessing. All right. He threw away his own blessing because he didn't have any integrity. All right. Also, you find out when, not just he just wanted to kill Jacob, but he transgressed the Most High's laws, his father's laws. And that, and the scriptures talk about honor thy father, honor thy mother. He didn't honor his father. All right. Along with other things that Esau done, which he's a crooked person. All right. But this is Genesis 27:42. And these words Esau, her eldest son, were told. Hold on. Let me go back. And in Genesis 27:41, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. So the Edomite race was always jealous of the Israelite race, you know, better known as Jacob, because he's the progenitor. And when we speak about these men, when we speak about any men of antiquity, we always correlate them with their lineage, because lineage matters, race matters, nationality matters. And Esau would take that out of the spectrum, of course, because if you can take away the head, or you can pretty much, nobody else has to pretty much, how can I say this with lack of better words, nobody has to pretty much answer for the sins of their forefather. I mean, their forefathers. You know. Now, we know the scriptures talk about, the son doesn't suffer for the sins of the father. Well, the father can also curse his own children, and this is the case with Esau. All right, so this is why the whole nation of Esau is pretty much damned, because their father pretty much turned away that blessing that would have pretty much, hypothetically, it would have, it wouldn't have destroyed their race, but things happen for a reason, and I'm just speaking hypothetically, but we go off what the scriptures say. So Salakia. All right, it says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And what does the scripture talk about? Envy not thou brother, love thy brother, thy love thyself. And Esau hasn't loved, his brother, which I'm gonna go back to 1 John 3:17. All right, so it says, and Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. All right, so he vowed to kill his brother after his father died. All right, and these words of Esau, her eldest son, were told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob her son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. So it was comfort that Esau felt when he thought upon killing Jacob. All right, and you know what? That correlates to the very latter times in which we live in today. It correlates to the lineage, their lineage. They have the same mentality. They said they have the same perpetual hatred as once their forefather had, and still does. And that's why the scripture says what it says in Ezekiel 35:5. So Salakia, no willingness is edifying. Because I really didn't have any scriptures, but here we go. So this is Ezekiel 35:5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. So what? A perpetual hatred, meaning an everlasting hatred. An everlasting hatred that lasted throughout all millennia, all centuries, all right, leading up to the time that we live in now. All right. So it's an everlasting thing that was never, how can you say, pretty much quenched. That wrath, that hatred is still there towards, from the Edomite race towards the Israelite race of people. Okay. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Said thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. All right. So this is what the Most High is saying. Blood shall pursue whom? The so-called white man. All right. And so another thing that we understand reading the scriptures is that the Most High required that which is past. Okay. And what was past? The hurtful works, the things that they have done to us throughout these centuries, and they done it with a malicious intent because of the perpetual hatred. Ecclesiastes 3:15, that which has been is now, and that which has been, which is to be, hath already been, and God required that which is past. So the thing that had been before time is now. All right, and the Most High required those things that you have done in the past, and Esau has not paid the piper, so to speak. He hasn't paid the piper when it comes to transgressing his father's law, transgressing against his own brother, ultimately transgressing against the Most High's will. All right. So in turn, which his will was to, the Most High will for the so-called white race, which is the red Hebrew Edomites, is that they go off, that they were made crooked. All right. He reserved them for the day of evil. He reserved them for the time of evil, which we're going to see. Okay. So the Lord required that which is past. Also, um, you know, that's why the Lord says scriptures like this. Um, you know, he's going to devour them that devour thee. So I'm a really Salaki. So Jeremiah 30. Um, let's see. So we know that the Most High is okay. So Salaki, Jeremiah 30 and 15. This is the Most High talking to Israel. Why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquity. All right. So we transgressed to the point where we've ended up in a state of peril beyond repair. All right. So we entered in that state of hell, which we can't repair ourselves. Our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. As a whole, our people are destroyed. 2/3 of the nation of Israel, and 1/3, the elect, the Most High, has to bring them together. All right, through His Spirit. All right, and the Most High is, sort of mollifying our source. The elect. All right, the nation, the rest of the nation of Israel is destroyed, completely destroyed. All right. But as the scriptures say, all Israel shall be saved, according to Isaiah 45 and 17. It says, thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. I have done these things unto thee. So the Most High have done these things, all right? And that's one thing that we need to understand, that these are the Most High's doings, all right? And so is, him bringing a nation against us, okay? But what that nation does, like I'm going to read Isaiah 10, which explains it. The nation that he put places over us, they do things to us. They forward afflictions upon the nation of Israel. Slavery, i.e. Jim Crow, slave leasing, prison industrial complex, Reaganomics, which put drugs and weapons in our communities so we can destroy ourselves. Institutions like hip hop, so on and so forth. These things are the forwarded afflictions of the devil, which is Esau, Edom, the red Hebrew Edomites. All right. So the Most High requires all these things. All right. It says, therefore, all they. So, and also, well, I'll read Isaiah 10 to bring it to pretty much bring it to the forefront. So Jeremiah 30 and 16. Therefore, all that they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for prey. All right. For I will restore health unto thee. Okay. So the main principle in the 16th verse is that the Most High is telling these nations, you're going to have to pay for what you have done. As the scriptures say, an eye for an eye. All right. A tooth for a tooth, man. All right. And it's just plain and simple. That's how the Most High works. Okay. And we find that out through reading, through understanding his word. All right. Not just being proud and presumptuous, pretty much leaning upon our own understanding and expecting the Most High to act a certain way, expecting the Most High to pretty much do something within the confines of your comfort. And that's what Esau is doing right here when you study what's going on with these devils. He wants to throw the Most High's words back in his own face, which you can't do that. You cannot do that because you've done things that go beyond the calling. You've done things, you have crossed the line, and the Most High have drawn a line in the sand of you, and you've crossed it. All right. So, for I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, said the Lord, because they called thee an outcast. You see that? So they call us an outcast, preying upon us, seeing our demise, capitalizing on our vulnerabilities, and saying, "Hey, look, that ain't our problem. You got to deal with that type of deal." So this is the mindset of Esau. But the Most High, hey, the Most High sees all things, He knows all, man. So it says, I will read again. It says, "For I will restore health unto thee, Israel, and I will heal thee of thy wounds. All right, said the Lord, because they called thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after." So the so-called white man thought as though we weren't going to be accounted for. All the things, all the people that died, all the Israelites that died, he figured that they wouldn't be accounted for. And the Most High is accounting for us. He is redeeming us. He is saying, wait a minute, all these, and that's what the Most High is going to do. And hey, maybe that's out of the understanding of the so-called white man. It is what it is. All right, so Salakia. Because the scriptures say he's going to revenge his very elect. So let me get that really quick. I said it wasn't going to be long. It really was supposed to be one scripture, but I think this is in Revelations. I'm not sure. I know it's a few of them. And let me see. This is Revelations. Let me see. See, this is what the angel said. So it's two precepts to this. Revelation 6:9. It says, "And when he had opened the fifth seal, and I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of the Most High." All right. So there's individuals who are going to be slain for the word, the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai? Because, hey, the world hates the Most High, and you're going to find that out. It ain't just the Most High hates Esau, it's Esau which hates the Lord. And that's why the Most High hates Esau, and he loves Jacob, because Jacob is surnaming himself and pretty much refining ourselves. So it says, "I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of the Most High, and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth?" All right. So this is what the saints are saying. This is what the saints are saying. Okay. The saints are saying, hey, how long will you not avenge? And the Most High says what? He is the avenger. When you look at it, okay, he is the avenger. All right. So bear with me, Baba Kasha, because I want to find a precept to. Let's see. So I want to find a precept to. All right, so Salaki. All right, so Salaki. Luke 18:7. I have to scour for this one. Luke 18:7. It says, "It shall not." Let me see. I can read. I can actually start up a few. All right, because Esau represents the unjust judge. All right, so I'll read the point. All right, Luke 18:7. It says, "And shall not God, the Most High, avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them?" Okay, and I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? All right. So, will the Lord find those who are faithful in what? And pretty much his agenda, his will, So the Most High is going to avenge us. The Lord is just long suffering, and the elect have to wait. We all have to wait. We're on the Most High's time, Yahweh. And no man knoweth the hour. Also, the Most High is, he's purging out his elect. So there's, two dynamics going on here. We're being purged. And the Most High eventually he's gonna save us out of this rut. So, like, I just lost my train of thought, but the Most High is gonna revenge his elect, and there's nothing that Esau can do about that. All right, so let's go to Isaiah 10, and I'm in on this because the Most High said he's gonna cut them off. You know, and there's other scriptures like Obadiah that says they're gonna cut them off from being a nation. All right, so Isaiah 10 and woe 10:1, it says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. And we see this with Esau's, the Red Hebrew Edomites, their justice system. We see that very prevalent among their justice system. All right, that they use to prosecute and use to set up laws. They even set up laws against pretty much in favor of them, and pretty much punish you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans to the full extent of the law. And they, most of the time, the so-called white man gets a slap on the wrist when they do crimes, the same crimes as you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. It says to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey. You see, and because the so-called white man preys on the widows, which are the husbandless, all right, and that they may rob the fatherless, which are the children, all right, because what they have taken the fathers out of the household due to welfare. They have perpetuated that lifestyle and created this whole theology of independent woman, feminism, and all this other stuff. What to rationalize destroying the family house structure. But this is the system that we live in, and these Edomites don't care. All right, which I'm gonna read this point, and I'm gonna close out. All right, Isaiah 10:7. All right, howbeit he meaneth not so, neither doth his heart think so, but it is in his heart to destroy and cut off nations, not a few. For he said, are not my princes altogether kings? Is not Calno as Carchemish? And this is the prince of Assyria, I believe. Let me see. This is the Assyrian king, and the pride in which he goes about dealing with nations, especially the nation of Israel. And this is the same pride that the so-called white man has over the nation of Israel. They believe that they have used, with all their strength, they've taken us down, but the Most High have given them strength to take us down. All right, so 7, it says, howbeit he meaneth not so, neither doth his heart think so, but it is in the heart. It is in his heart to destroy and cut off nations, not a few. So the Most High cuts off whole nations. All right, for he said, are not my princes altogether kings? Is not Calno as Carchemish? Is not Hamath as Arpad? Is not Samaria as Damascus? As my hand hath found the kingdoms of the idols, and whose graven images did excel them of Jerusalem and of Samaria, shall I not, as I have done unto Samaria and her idols, so do to Jerusalem and her idols? Wherefore it shall come to pass that when the Lord hath performed his whole work upon Mount Zion and on Jerusalem, I will punish the fruit of the stout heart of the king of Assyria and the glory of his high looks. All right. And correlate this with Esau, because they are the Assyrian Empire all over again, through the spirit. It's spiritual correlations, it's spiritual connections between the two. All right. It says, for he said, and most of the time it's just the ongoing mindset of these different nations. All right. It says, for he said, by the strength of my hand I have done it, and by my wisdom, for I am prudent. All right. So this is what the so-called white man thinks. He thinks he's prudent, and I have removed the bounds of the people and have robbed their treasures, and I have put down the inhabitants like a valiant man. It's this whole I'm doing this. But the Most High sealeth your instructions. All right, according to Job. You know, it's the Most High that sets up men, according to Daniel 4:17. All right. It's the Most High that leads man's heart, according to Proverbs. All right. Not he himself. But this is what was happening here. The so-called white men or the Assyrians at this time uh, had the same thought process as these proud devils this day. They think that they have taken down the world, that they have built their empire off just their measly selves. And that's not the truth. The Most High set them up, and they never gave credence. And they continue to blaspheme, and they continue to destroy his people. So the Most High is one for them. You know, and these people, this man on the left right here, these Edomites, they're puny, man. They don't, the Most High goes after the high ones. And these are just, you know, Edomites trying to clear themselves, all right, from the judgments, but that's not going to happen. Verse 14, Isaiah 10:14. And my hand hath found as a nest the riches of the people, and as one gathered eggs that are left, have I gathered all the earth. And there was none that moved the wing, or opened the mouth, or peeped. Shall the axe boast against him that heweth therewith? So this is the wisdom of the Most High. All right. So the Most High is saying, is the instrument, the tool, greater than the one that wields it? All right. So here we go. It says, shall the axe boast itself against him that heweth therewith? Or shall the saw magnify itself against him that shaketh it? As if the rod should shake itself against them that lift it up, or as if the staff should lift up itself as if it were no wood. Therefore shall the Lord of hosts. It says, therefore shall Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, send among his fat ones leanness, and under his glory he shall kindle a burning like the burning of a fire. And the light of Israel shall be for a fire, and his Holy One for a flame, and it shall burn and devour his thorns and his briars in one day, and shall consume the glory of his forest and of his fruit field, both soul and body, and they shall be as when a standard bearer faint. All right, so the Most High is going to be the one that throws down, and he's going to use certain individuals. All right, he's going to use the elect. Okay, and that's just as plain as simple. All right, so and with that, Salaki for being a long lesson. Lord willing, it was edifying. And you know, hey, you can't hide yourself. You can't clear your name, and you cannot deceive people to say that that the Most High Yahweh doesn't hate Esau, because he clearly hates you. Because you clearly shucking and jiving, as they say. All right, clearly, you know, not owning up to who and what you are. All right, but hey, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, and they're gonna continue to lie and to continue to skate around the issue until they be found out fully, until their destruction, you know, comes. And with that, I'm gonna give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash, double honor to the apostles, elders, that great millstone, salutations to Yahakim that's out there doing the work in truth and in sincerity. Shalom.